If you enjoyed the channel and our video content and would like to support us, you can do this in a couple of ways. You can sign up to our Patreon site, which is a monthly subscription to one of our 4 tiers, each giving you something different from early access interviews up to exclusive unseen footage. There's also the option of a one-off donation via PayPal, which allows you the option to donate an amount of your choice. Both options really help to keep this channel going and to continue putting out regular content for you good folk. So please take a look at aircrewinterview.tv/donate, and I thank you in advance. Thank you and enjoy. And how did you personally feel integrating with, another nation to another country? Was there quite a lot of barriers there, language barriers? How did it work?
Actually, it was difficult just on the first stages because in that time we didn't have enough pilots with good English, but our younger generation just took the process in in our hands, and actually we produced all the documents, necessary instructions for these exercises, and we produced some small sheets of instructions of phraseology, radio communications. So and we gave that for our old guys, old colonels, who didn't know English at all. For example, a lot of our officers actually during the Soviet period, they were studying German language. So they at the moment they didn't know about English anything. So they used these small instructions just to learn by heart some basic communications phrases and so on, and they started to use that. And actually, it was the first exercise with 100% English sorties. So I think we broke all the barriers, even for these old guys. And from this moment, they were very motivated to learn more and more, because it's just fucking interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. So especially the guys who remember the first Top Gun movie from the 80s, the 80s. So they feel like a part of this movie now.
Yes.
Because first of all, because of absolutely free maneuvering during the training dogfights. So actually, it's a little bit different with Ukrainian post-Soviet training sorties. So according to the U.S. training doctrine, you are free to do everything in the air. So of course it should be safe, but you could try everything to improve your skills. Unfortunately, in our Air Force we had some I think pretty stupid limitations, and after that all our leadership saw that it's very effective to give more freedom to the pilots. And actually, during this free dogfights in English, all our pilots were very motivated to learn more, to
Yes.
to be involved in this westernization, like we could tell it westernization. So it was a great experience, especially due to large force engagements. So it was a great experience to try to fight against Russians, because our U.S. counterparts, they were like simulating Russian flankers, Russian Air Force, and we were trying to intercept them, and it was very helpful to feel our like a weak weak points, weak sides, and also some better sides too. So we could analyze this engagements and to create some new some flexible tactics, and actually it works now. From the first day of this war, it works, and actually, just on my base, there were few moments with when during the first days of very active engagements, and actually including fighter-to-fighter engagements on the large distances. There were few cases like when we had actually we have a ready decision, completed decision from this exercises, because we had some examples of this engagements from the exercise, and it was very similar with the real actions of the Russians. Of course, still due to the technical issues, I mean the technical advantage of the Russian Air Force, it's the effect of this tactics is very limited still. So it's helpful to survive. It's helpful to try to kill some enemy, but and to prevent to gain the real air superiority. So so our mission from the first days of this war was first of all preventive, just to show our presence in Ukrainian sky, to show Russian Air Force that we are not easy target.
Yes.
And we will resist. We will resist just up to the last fighter jet, up to the last missile, up to the last pilot, and actually it worked. It worked, and it was a great motivation for actually for all our armed forces and for all our citizens, and actually that's why the legend of the Ghost of Kiev was born. So
yes,
all the branches of our aviation was working hard just from the first hours of the war. And actually this cooperation was very helpful to be trained for this war better. unfortunately, in 2021, this another same exercises were delayed due to the coronavirus. So it was planned to conduct the same exercises last year, but unfortunately this didn't help, and but now we have pretty realistic exercises with Russians. Yeah.
Yes, obviously, all our viewers are going to know what the conflict has been about and what's happened in the past. But I've got a couple of great questions from a couple of patrons, Juice. But I'm going to wrap up my part of the interview by asking you, how would you sum up the MiG-29?
It's still a great jet, but we need something new. We need something much more advanced. So, of course, we are trying to do our best using this platform. We are trying to intercept all the kinds of aerial threats, like cruise missiles, bombers, helicopters, and other stuff. We are trying to help our strikers with close air support missions sometimes, and actually during the first weeks we have some examples of these missions too. So, and the same with the flankers. They are also conducting some air-to-ground missions, but it's not efficiently enough. It's not, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. So I think we have just one option to win this aerial war, is to receive some Western platforms with the Western radars, with Western missiles. Right. So if of course there are a lot of political and diplomatic talks about, for example, Polish MiGs or Slovakian MiGs. Of course, it could be helpful to maintain the QRA around the country, to try to intercept some cruise missiles, but it's not effective. It's very expensive. It's pretty dangerous, and it's not effective enough. So I think in the fighter perspective, we need to receive only Western platforms with good radars, with active seeker missiles. Of course, AIM 120 MRMs. So I think it's only option for us. Which type exactly, which modification, and which like a kit with some specific weapon. Of course, it's a very difficult topic to discuss because of a lot of details. But as for me, it could be some used F-16s, F-15s, C or D. I understand, of course, that E model is too expensive. It's too expensive. Yeah. But I still want this. Yeah, and also FA-18 Hornet as a pretty good option too. So all of these jets are the platforms to pretty advanced radars, to modern avionics and for first of all for good missile. So first of all, we could cover our air-to-air need just to secure our cities, just to secure our infrastructure. But after that, we could request or just to buy some additional weapons for air-to-ground missions, for SEAD missions, or for some exactly striker mission, or for some close air support as well, because we know that F-16 is pretty good for these missions too. So
wild weasels,
yeah. So I think it's the only mission. It's the only option to win this war and to modernize our air force.
But thanks for sharing that, Juice. But we've got a couple of questions from our patrons, as I say. So if you're happy to answer them, I'll read them out for you. So this is from Alex. I'm guessing you might know what he's referencing here. From your experience, is a sortie rate of 300 fixed wing sorties realistic?
I couldn't tell the exact numbers of any stuff. So about hours, about the number of sorties, about the ranges, etc. So
of course,
yeah. And anyway, the numbers are classified. So yeah. But
sorry for that, Alex.
Yeah.
But he's got another one. Maybe you can answer this, Juice. He's put in two questions here. So, again, you might not be able to talk about it. But as far as you can talk about, we kind of talked about it. As far as you can talk about it, how useful are the updates on the Ukraine MiG-29 and Su-27, especially the avionics modifications?
Yeah, so very limited. Very limited. Very limited, and actually these avionics are helpful just for some basic navigation. So we have GPS navigational system installed in our cockpit, but actually, as for me, I think that usual Garmin is a way better. Yeah, and
it's the way to go,
and cheaper and cheaper.
Yes.
So we have some cool updates of flyer information recorders. So it's good. It's good for training purposes, for the flight analysis, and for some aviation safety issues. So, like for some investigations of some incidents and accidents. So, but of course, it's not absolutely useful for some combat capabilities. So our radar is little bit updated. So now it's a little bit more reliable and have a little bit better range. But actually, it's we still have almost the same capabilities like 40 years ago. So they just put some new details in old radar to work better, but actually without any improved tactical performances, just a technical. Yeah. So
right.
Actually, in the cockpit, you're feeling like a 40 years ago.
Right.
But with a cool screen, with a cool color screen now.
I've seen it. Yeah, yes, I've seen that. Yeah, it's very cool, isn't it?
but sometimes you still need Garmin screen above this.
Brilliant.
Yeah, because it's
well, hopefully that's answered your answer, but your question there, Alex. But we've got one from Joe here, if you don't mind us answering this one, Juice. Do you play DCS Worlds, and if so, did they get it right about their MiG-29 and Su-27?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I'm flying this simulator for a lot of years, for many years, just from my childhood. It was lock on in this time, and actually, it's a pretty interesting story because primarily. It's a Russian game. It was made in Russia, and there were two scenarios. It was Georgia, and it was Crimea. And actually, I think it was 2004 or 5th, but actually at this time, I was already understanding that something is planned, because it's pretty strange to have only these scenarios and only these maps in this game, actually in this very realistic simulator, and just in minds of people, this conflict was like preparing, and I don't believe that it's a randomly. It's just a random scenarios. So some plans in Russian military community, I think, were planned just at these years, and that's why I was ready for this war after the 2008 after the Georgian campaign, because actually I had this scenario in the game, guys. So we are fucking next. We are fucking next, and unfortunately, not all the leadership of armed forces and not all the governmental leadership was on the same page, was prepared for this war in 2014, and actually this year, this February, also not all the leadership was prepared, but fortunately for us, almost all. And as for me, I was psychically, mentally, I was absolutely ready for this, because it was predictable. And this game, actually, this game was very important to make this tactical picture for me too. So about MiGs and about Sukhois, unfortunately, they were not detailed enough models of these jets.
Right.
Yeah, but at the moment, as I know, Flanker is way better. So they updated the model of Su-27, and also they put some updates to MiG-29 too, but actually it works a little bit better than in the real life. So it's realistic.
So.
It's realistic enough. It's realistic enough, comparing the maneuverability, but in some numbers, in some tactical moments, it's little bit different with the real life. And first of all, the problem is that you could use R-77 missile with the usual MiG and with the usual Sukhoi 27. So of course it's not realistic, because it's only modernized, deeply modernized versions are capable to use that. But generally it's pretty good. There are some other unrealistic stuff, some issues with radar warn, like RVR, radar warning receiver, Soviet receiver, and about some functions of this, and with some modes of radar, modes of like weapon systems, weapon control systems. But in general, it's pretty realistic. So for the basic,
not bad.
Yeah, for the basic understanding of this platform is very useful, and that's why at the moment we are trying to learn something about F-16s, F-18s, and also F-15s, and also A-10 in the
A-10, yes.
in this simulator, because actual Western platforms, I think they're made maybe a little bit better, a little bit more detailed, and it's also very helpful to learn the basics about these jets, especially for our young guys. And I hope that that U.S. government will give us some new platforms, and we need to be mentally ready for this, and to learn some instructions, to learn some technical stuff. And it's very cool to like almost to touch this in virtual cockpits, and to try to use that. And actually in YouTube there are some very cool channels with guys who are describing some tactics, some Western tactics, and using this we could be much more prepared for transition process.
Well, thank you very much for that, Juice, and hopefully that's answered your question there, Joe. But I've got a couple of personal questions to wrap up this interview, Juice. So I'm going to start with, do you have any hobbies outside of aviation?
Yeah, so almost everything connected with the military, and also it's a small arms, just firearms, just a shooting. So I have a pistol, I have a shotgun, I have a rifle. So actually, it's one of my hobbies, just to improve my shooting skills. Of course, in some tactical ways. Yeah, so it's not hunting. It's just also like a way to to be more prepared, more trained to the war.
Hone your skills.
For just for the war, because actually the first days, the first 2 weeks of this war, I was on the ground, and I was organizing the ground defense of my squadron. Because at the moment, almost all of our jets were somewhere on different airfields, just trying to survive from the missile strikes, and there were no free cockpits for me at that moment. So because it was not my shift, it was not my shift that moment, that morning. So I was on the ground. I was actually with a rifle in my hands, with body armor, with a Kevlar helmet, and I was helping to communicate and to help some special forces, some our local forces to provide the security of the base. So that's why my hobby was pretty useful for this, because we were waiting for some assault groups of Russian airborne troops and etc. So actually it's not very typical mission for the fighter pilot, but anyway, you need to be ready for this, because
it's a useful hobby.
Because actually your first mission is to get to the base from your home, and here you could face with some ground operations, with some ground problems. So you need to be trained just to drive, to shoot, to run, to run quickly. And the same with escape scenarios. So in case of ejection, you should survive, and you should know how to do everything for this. So it's pretty useful hobby.
But I want to ask you, what's okay? So we'll go to the next question. What is the favorite aircraft you've flown?
It's a very provocative question.
I know.
Because up to 2019, of course, it was MiG-29, but after the familiarization flight in California, this question became much more difficult. And actually, I could tell you that F-15C.
There we have it.
F-15C. But in my case, it's F-15D, but actually it's
in the back seat.
Almost the same. So absolutely crazy dogfighting, and just beautiful formation, close formation flight. So it's amazing. It's amazing experience.
You're a very lucky man, Juice. You've had the best of both worlds, East and West there. So, like, you know, what a lucky man.
Yeah. So, of course, MiG-29 is my soldier plane, but
close to your heart.
Yeah, but F-15 is something magical for us. But not only of course not only from my feelings during the flight, but also from understanding of real capabilities, of real technical and tactical capabilities. That it's so you're clearly understanding that it's not only for fun. It's a real capable jet. It's actually that jet was older than my MiGs.
Really?
Yeah. So actually, almost all F-15s are from middle of 80s. So it's about 85 or up to 88, maybe something like that. And and our MiGs are actually younger. So our MiGs 1990, 1991. So yeah, actually it's younger. And especially comparing the flight time, because Western jets are much more exhausted in this case, but they are much better maintained. They have much better conditions for standing. So all the Western jets are staying just in some shelters. In our case, it's something terrible that our jets all these 30 years are staying with the sun, with salt water in the air. I mean Crimea or some other southern parts of Ukraine, and with snow, with rains, etc., with ice. So during some seasons, like some early spring or autumn, we have some like near zero temperatures, and this ice during this period is a terrible problem. So you're just not able to open your jet because of centimeter of the ice on the airframe.
Yes.
Yeah. So due to a lot of factors, even old Western jets are looking and are flying better at the moment, and of course due to a lot of updates, due to a lot of modernization, and real modernization, not Ukrainian modernization. Yeah.
Well, Juice, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show and talking about, your story and flying the MiG-29 and where we're up to today with the conflict. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you too. It's a great chance to show the audience something about our situation, about our area of war, and about our problems as well. Because at the moment we are trying to tell the Western governments in all channels, in all ways, that we need this help. We need this assistance, because we need to save the lives of our citizens. We need to save our ground forces too.